Week 18 has just finished for the NFL's regular season, and now we are going into the playoffs. All of the matchups are set, and we are going to be getting into it right now, predicting all of it all the way to the Super Bowl. Be sure to leave a comment on this video letting me know what your predictions are. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you do end up enjoying it. Let's shoot for 10 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that said, let's get right into it. Obviously, Packers and Titans clinched the number 1 seed for the NFC and AFC respectively, so they get a first round bye. The first round matchups are Patriots versus Bills, Raiders versus Bengals, Chiefs versus Steelers, 49ers versus Cowboys, Cardinals versus Rams, and Buccaneers versus Eagles. Starting off with Patriots versus Bills, Patriots are in an interesting position because they have a stellar rookie quarterback in Mac Jones, as well as a fantastic defense with an interesting offensive core around it. There are players like Jacoby Myers, players like Kendrick Bourne, Damian Harris, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. There are certain players I'm not going to touch on entirely throughout this list also because I do have other plans for them in future videos. But compared to the Bills, who have a borderline top 5 quarterback in Josh Allen, as well as an elite receiving core, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox, Cole Beasley, as well as a good defense. Not as good as the Patriots, but still a solid defense. The Patriots do have an advantage as well in the running game, as the Bills, aside from Josh Allen, is basically non-existent. Regardless, I'm going to take the Bills in my prediction for this one. Mac Jones will put up a good fight, but I feel like it'll just be too much for the Patriots to be able to handle. So I have the Bills moving on to the next round. Raiders and Bengals. Raiders won 4 straight to get to this point, and they are now currently the 5 seed in the AFC. The Bengals won the AFC North after the Ravens completely collapsed. I've made my opinion on Derek Carr pretty clear, but regardless though, it's an impressive run up to this point. He does have great weapons around him. Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, etc. The Bengals, obviously led by Joe Burrow, have guys like Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, etc., as well as a stellar defense led by Jesse Bates and company. In my opinion, this is a wash for the Bengals because I do feel like they are way better defensively than the Raiders are. So in my personal opinion, I feel like they move on. Chiefs versus Steelers. This could be Ben Roethlisberger's last game. Fuck fat rapist. The Steelers are not a bad team as a whole. They have Najee Harris, they have Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson. They have an elite defense too. The only problem, in my opinion, is Big Ben. He is not the player he once was. His arm strength is horrendous. Some of the throws that he has attempted have been completely just fucking terrible. And it's hard to bet against the Chiefs, honestly, with Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams. It was a fantastic defense. Tyrann Mathieu, Melvin Ingram, and company. In my opinion, I say the Chiefs beat the Steelers, and this will be Big Ben's final game in the NFL. Moving on to the NFC, we have 49ers versus Cowboys. 49ers are probably one of the most well-rounded teams in the entire NFL, offensively and defensively. They've had some injuries that have set them back, as well as COVID restrictions. I do feel like the 49ers are going to beat the Cowboys, and I do think it'll be probably one of the best matchups in the entire playoffs, honestly. Cowboys are not too shabby themselves. They have obviously Dak, they have Zeke, who's having a fantastic year, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz. Their defense is led by Defensive Rookie of the Year, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, etc. I feel like Niners, though, are just too balanced. They're going to move on to the divisional round. Cardinals versus Rams. I don't think this is really a debate, but I don't think this will be like a blowout. I think Rams are going to beat the Cardinals. It's mostly going to depend on if Matthew Stafford is going to be a stud or not. Matt Stafford is either the best quarterback we've ever seen or mediocre. It really just sort of depends on the week. I feel like Matt Stafford will turn it up in the playoffs though. It's really tough, and I don't think this will be a blowout at all. I think Kyler Murray and company are going to give them a big fight. I just think the Rams are too overpowered with Odell, with Cooper Kupp. They have Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, and Aaron Donald on the same defensive unit. That shit is crazy. I'm taking the Rams. Bucks and Eagles is kind of tough. The Bucks are a little tough to figure out because they're missing Chris Godwin. They could be missing Fournette come playoff time. Mike Evans is severely banged up. They just lost Antonio Brown, and their only reliable option is a washed-up Gronkowski. The Eagles, on the other hand, have a good quarterback in Jalen Hurts, but a very limited amount of weapons, and a solid-ish defensive unit led by Darius Slay. It's hard to bet against Tom Brady, so I'm not going to. I say Bucks are going to beat the Eagles, probably by I would say maybe 9 or 10. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I guess that's what the whole point of this is. The divisional rounds for the AFC, looking like Bengals versus Titans and Bills versus Chiefs. And for the NFC, it will be 49ers and Packers and Rams versus Bucks. Starting with Bengals and Titans, the Bengals clearly have the more explosive offense. I think that's pretty obvious. The Titans have a better defense, and they're getting Derrick Henry back. I think Derrick Henry is going to have a masterclass. Tannehill will pitch in his part, and I feel like it won't be easy, but I feel like the Titans will be able to beat the Bengals and move on to the AFC title game. Bills versus Chiefs. Here's the thing with the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been so bad against teams that are over 500. This shit has been painful to watch for the Chiefs against good teams. So I don't know if I really trust them against the Bills. The Bills have been inconsistent themselves the last couple of weeks. The last couple of months. I still trust the Bills more than Chiefs, and with that, I'm going to pick the Bills to beat the Chiefs in what many will consider an upset and move on to the AFC title game against the Titans. 49ers and Packers, I think, will be a good game, but I do feel like Aaron Rodgers, with all of his weapons, Devontae Adams, MVS, Randall Cobb, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, it's so stacked. Their defense has just got stronger. Jair Alexander's back. His protection got way better with David Bakhtiari coming back. It's tough to bet against the Packers either way, so I'm going to say they move on to the NFC title game. As for Rams and Bucks, I think Tom Brady puts on a valiant effort, but I feel like the Rams offense and defense is way too much for the Bucks to handle, and they will move on to the NFC title game against the Packers. We move on to the AFC and NFC championship games. It is Bills versus Titans and Rams versus Packers. Starting off with Bills and Titans, they are very similar teams. They can be very inconsistent and cold on offense, and they both have very solid defensive units. But the thing is, the Bills are a way better passing team, a way better receiving core. The Titans are not shabby, don't get me wrong. It's Tannehill to mostly AJ Brown, sometimes Julio. And then there are other guys like Ferks or Derrick Henry will get the ball, obviously. But like the Titans have a way better rushing core than the Bills. The Bills have one of the worst rushing cores for a playoff team that I've seen in a long time. So with that said, I think the Bills passing offense would be way too much for the Titans personally. And with that, the Bills would move on to the Super Bowl. As for Rams and Packers, I think this will probably be the best game in the entire playoffs. I feel like Rodgers and Stafford would have a shootout. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Rams would be just a little bit too much for the Packers. And the Rams would move on to Super Bowl 56 against the Buffalo Bills. The Super Bowl 56 champions, in my opinion, would be the Los Angeles Rams, with Matt Stafford winning the game MVP. I might be completely off with these predictions, but I've had a Rams and Bills Super Bowl since the beginning of the season, and whether I'm wrong or right or not, I still think it's a very realistic possibility. Even though that the Bills in particular have been super inconsistent, they have still been an elite team. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Bills this year. Again, I don't think that'll be enough to beat the Rams with all their acquisitions and just overall talent that they've already had. But that's no disrespect to the Bills, obviously. But again, Rams, in my opinion, are the best team in the entire league. I don't really think it's up for discussion. That's it for me, though. Let me know what you guys think about the bracket down in the description. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your predictions are. I'd like to thank y'all so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, you want to see some more videos like this, you already know, please be sure to leave a like. Again, we're shooting for 10 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's it from me, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.